Good morning, Unity of Greenville. How is everyone this morning? We can start now. Barbara's here. How was your week? Good. How many of you noticed when you drove in that beautiful new quilt? Isn't it lovely? You know, we had Susan Tower Camp there that had this wonderful vision about putting together this quilt, and we had one through the holiday season, and then she just installed this new one for spring, and of course it has my favorite word on it, grace, and I just love it. The colors are beautiful. I want to encourage you after service to go out there and get a picture with the quilt because it won't be around forever. Get it while you can. Take a picture and post it on your social media thread and invite people to come and check it out because we want people to see it and appreciate it and give some love to it. Yes? Yes. It's a quiet crowd this morning. I don't know, maybe everyone has the drowsies or something, I don't know. Well, we're going to move into our service. It's Q&A Sunday, so James and I are going to make ourselves available to answer all of your burning questions. So get those questions in your mind, and we'll move on to that here in a few moments. But first, let's take a couple of nice deep breaths. We want to take our attention away from everything that's been going on this morning and just gather all of our energy and attention to this experience, this now moment, being right here present for this unique, special, one-of-a-kind moment. Did you know you'll never have this moment again? There it went. There it went, right? Those moments just go. They're gone like that. No moment will be just like this one. So we're going to take a breath and think about world peace this morning. Ooh, world peace. And let's say the affirmation together, if you would please. I live my vision for a peaceful world. Now there's quite a bit in that to unpack, isn't there? I live my vision for a peaceful world. To bring about peace in the world, I begin by paying attention to my first reaction when I feel I have been treated unjustly. Anybody have that feeling ever? I do not deny my feelings, but neither do I allow anger, envy, or other negative feelings to take control of my response. I feel my feelings, but I remain committed to living the truth I know. Regardless of behavior, I'm going to have to say this again. Regardless of behavior, every person is a divine being. Take a breath of that. A living expression of God. I call upon my divine faculties of love, faith, and strength to guide my next steps. No matter how another responds, I remain centered in God. My efforts make a difference. Peace between individuals creates peace within families, peace within communities, and among the nations of the world. And Isaiah 32:17 says, the effect of righteousness will be peace, and the result of righteousness, quietness, and trust forever. That's quite something for us to carry out with us today, isn't it? Quite a goal for us to live from. So with that, I turn it over to Reverend James.
Okay. How are we? I guess you're okay. I'll just assume the best.
They're a quiet bunch, as I said.
It's okay. It's okay. Let's all stand together. You don't have to be anything other than your true self, right? I want to invite you to find somebody to shake hands with. Welcome. Give them a fist bump or a high five or hey you, whatever you feel like you want to do this morning. So glad to be together in unity. We're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here. We're so glad to be together in unity. We're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here. Come on in as we gather for a while. Let's give a hug and share a smile. Come on in and meet a friend and be accepted as you are. Oh, we're so glad to be together in unity. We're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here. We're so glad to be together in unity. We're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here. We're so glad to be together in unity. All right, tell somebody before you're seated, I'm glad you're here. Yeah. I'd rather be here than the best prison in the world. How about you? All right? Yeah. How many are always looking on the bright side? We're going to invite our children to come on down at this time.
Who started whistling that? Always look on the bright side of life.
All right. Hey, guys. How's it going this morning? We doing all right? Okay.
They're quiet too.
They're quiet too. That's all right. We're going to wake you up. God is, and I am. I create, and I pray, and I act on the truth that I know. God is, and I am. I create, and I pray, and I act on the truth that I know. There is only one God. There is only one love. All right, let's give them a hand this morning. You guys ready to go? We love you. We bless you. We behold the Christ in you. We appreciate you. And we bless your teachers too. And so it is.
It is.
All right. You feeling good today? Good. Well, you know, we are going to have a Q&A. But before we get started, I'd like to maybe just kind of open with a little monologue. Is that all right?
Okay.
Or a duologue. Duologue.
A dialogue?
Or a dialogue. Or just some words.
Go for it.
Yeah. So I think it's important to celebrate your wins, to celebrate your victories. We have a tendency in life sometimes to make a big deal out of things when we've done something that we're ashamed of. We've done something that wasn't helpful. We did something that maybe we offended somebody or whatever. Anyway, we have a tendency to blow those things big, make them big. And when we have a success, when we overcome, sometimes we just, yeah, well, I finally got through that. Ooh, boy.
Or we act like it was an accident.
Yeah.
We accidentally did that one right.
That's right. So, it's important to celebrate the good because, life is all about vibration and frequencies and resonance. All of us have a true core resonance, your true signature vibe, so to speak. Because everything moves and vibrates. Did you know that? Everything moves. And you're moving right now. All the atoms in your body are moving around. But if they were to stop, there would only be enough of you left to be placed on the head of a pin. That's how much substance you really are. But what you're looking at, the atoms are just moving so fast, it gives you the appearance that you are fully solid and, substance. But the truth is you are that spiritual energy that is behind all of that. You are the core, the signature vibration, the true self, your true natural self. Somebody, is always asking, well, who should I be? How should... Just be your true natural self. Be you, right? Well, who is that? Well, I don't know. You tell me, right? Who are you in this moment? What is arising from you in this moment? Because we all have a core vibe. And that's what we want to come from, is that place. Because what happens is many times we come from that egoic, fearful, anxious state. And if this idea of, that we attract things to us is true, then if we're getting mixed signals, if we're sending mixed signals, then we're getting a mixed, result. So what I want to learn to do is learn to relax a little bit and get back into my true self, because your true self is pure, positive energy and can only attract beautiful, wonderful, loving, life-giving things. Isn't that wonderful? So that is the part of me that I want to lean into. And also, we repel things too. There's some things in your life that you don't necessarily need. And so if you are at your core signature, self, then you'll push away those things. And sometimes people, not you. No. Of course not you. Of course not. I'm just looking to you for reassurance.
Keep going, you're good.
Okay. All right. I want to make sure I'm okay. So we attract certain things and we push away certain things. Now, when we're operating out of that negative ego, then we're getting a mixed, situation. And that can be unhealthy for us in many ways. But here's the beauty of it, that even the negative stuff that shows up in your life, even that person that you attracted, that showed up in your face and, and creates all kinds of havoc and stuff, even that can be turned around and used for the positive good. Let's take a breath together. Isn't that wonderful? So it doesn't matter, in one sense, if the negative's coming in. That's okay. It's just energy, and we'll just use it and turn it around and make something good with it. Does this sound good? Do we have any lemonade makers here? Right? Yeah, absolutely. So whatever's happening in your life, you can turn it around. And how do you do that? By moving back into that natural state of allowing and beingness. Just be you. It's like a cat cannot help but be a cat. And cats attract to themselves cat things, right? Dogs attract to themselves dog things. And human beings, we attract human things to us, right? So either way you go, celebrate your wins. Even if you've got a lot of lemons here, put a little sugar with it, mix it up, or Splenda, stevia, whatever you use these days, and make something with it. Make something out of it. That's what life is, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's just taking what comes your way and making something good with it. How's that feel? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we're going to open up to any questions that you may have. You can ask anything you want. I'm not guaranteeing that we will answer everything. Let's stay away from the political stuff. Say amen, somebody. Because we love each other, and we just don't have time.
And we're also not going to tell you whether we're for Clemson or SC.
That's right. That's right. You know, because if we had a show of hands, we'd see people who would be like one side and the other, and before you know it, the church would split, and then we'd have the church down, the Clemson church, and then the South Carolina. You know what I mean? We just don't want to go there. Does that make sense to anybody?
So years ago in another building, we had a big, long bank of windows, and we put some heavy curtains up to keep the sun out. And it just so happened that
It was a particular color.
the curtains that we chose were of a particular color, which some people thought we were making a statement with. And it was like, no, that was just the color that was available. So if you see orange or crimson or green or whatever around here, it's just the color that was available.
It's a subconscious way of trying to get you. No, I'm just kidding.
Unless we're talking about the powers and colors associated
All
with
right.
the powers.
Anybody have any questions this morning? And if you're watching online, you can
Drop them in the chat.
drop it in the chat and Facebook, and we'd be happy to address anything that you have this morning. If not, it's going to be a short service.
Oh, you hold it. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
One of the things I've been working on is stopping trying to fix something that's outside of my sphere. For example, if I'm doing a treatment on the massage table, rather than just letting the energy flow through me, sometimes I get an idea, oh, I know what muscle that is. I can fix that. Are there any techniques or things that you use to let go of fixing something that's not yours to fix?
Yeah.
We're talking about, how do I trust?
Okay. That's a good question. It's a very good question. You know, trust issues is something that we all have. We are taught in this world not to trust ourselves. We're taught not to trust ourselves. And the bad thing about that is you are your number one supporter. You are the one, if you're going to bet on anybody, bet on yourself. Bet on you, right? Because you have within you everything you need, you know, as far as muscles. You know, we were talking earlier about how that a situation, someone was selling a house and kept it neat and clean and tidy, and people would come and look, and nobody would buy it. And so the one day they had people over to work on the house, and they had stuff laying everywhere. The realtor shows up with a couple, and just like, oh, I can't believe it, you know. And they walk through the house, and guess what? They bought the house, right? So, the trust issue is a choice. I choose to trust that in this moment, everything, you know, whatever I need is available to me, and that what I'm doing is what I need to be doing. And if I'm not doing something that is correct or right, then, you know, Spirit will just have to tell me, have to lead me. And Spirit has all kinds of ways. You've heard of the Ways and Means Committee in Washington? Well, there's a divine Ways and Means Committee, you know, that is working on your behalf. And it's amazing how the little symbols and signs will show up in your life, the little synchronicities. And you go, oh yeah, maybe I should go left. Maybe I should go over here. And we have had that happen so many times. You know, we're going to go to one restaurant, and for some reason we can't get there. It's like we were traveling to Atlanta one day, and I've told this story before, and if you've heard it, just kind of roll your eyes. We were on our way to Atlanta, and we were talking about this lady that we knew, lovely person we had not seen in a long time. I said, you know, well, I've been missing seeing her, you know. in the community. And so we get to Atlanta, you know, and we're saying, we need to eat. And so we pulled off, and there was a mall there, and we go, oh, there's a Jason's Deli there. Let's go in there. You know, we know what they're about. We went into the deli, and we were waiting in line in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, Atlanta, Georgia. You know where that is, right? It's that way. And she walks in and gets in line right behind us. Right behind us. And so we're saying, hey, we were just talking about you. Right?
In the best possible way.
Yeah. And so we found out, you know, that she was helping her father, you know, just things that were going on in her life. And, you know, she was in Atlanta, Georgia at the time. You see what I'm saying? So Spirit knows how to get things done. I'm not the fixer. I'm not the fixer. Okay? It's not my, you know, there are things that sometimes you can do, potential that you have, that is beyond even your understanding. Words that you will say. And if you learn how to be in the moment with your life, in the moment with what you say, it's amazing how it just comes through you in that moment, and people are helped and people are blessed. You see what I'm saying? And it doesn't always work in the way that you think that it should. It's like the day, you know, that you the whole house is a mess, and that's the day you sell the house. Right? Isn't it beautiful? So you just never know, and it's like you just trust because you've seen it before. You've seen it before, and you know that it works. And you've had these experiences. And so, okay, because of that, I choose to trust that my life is on purpose, and that what I'm doing right now is what I need to be doing. And if I need to change it, then something will happen. And I will, right? The information will come, the situation will change, and I'll move in a new direction. Does that make sense? Does that help?
So there are two actual things that I do when it comes to fixing people, because I tend to be a control freak and want to fix people as well.
And I appreciate the help.
One thing is that I have gotten into the habit, if I'm going to be speaking with someone one-on-one, if I was doing some kind of a session like that, Sunday mornings before we do this, before going into prayer with someone, I always say, I now set my ego aside and make myself an open vessel for Spirit to flow through. That way I am consciously signaling to myself, this is not about me, this is about Spirit flowing through. And then the second thing is I always try to remember to remind myself that when I try to fix people, I could actually be doing more harm than good. Because I don't know their journey, and I don't know what it is that they're supposed to experience or go through. Sometimes I can actually intervene in that and cut off what's supposed to happen. And so my fixing things actually doesn't fix things at all. And so I try to remember that, okay, their journey is their journey. This is not mine. I am not the fixer. This is not mine to fix. They need to experience what they need to experience. And so I try to remind myself of that.
The word interfere.
Yes, enter
To
in
get
fear.
into fear with.
Yeah. It's the challenge of not being deceived by appearances and seeing my brother as perfect.
Yes.
That is just a constant reminder, remembering that I'm working on now.
Yeah?
Oh, you're working on stuff too?
You're kidding. You? Wow. Okay. All right. If
How
you
many
say
of you
so.
are working on stuff? Oh, good. Well, there were a few hands. There's some that are perfect. Who's not working on stuff? Because I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Yeah, I mean.
Any other questions? Any other comment? Oh. If you don't have a question, make a statement.
So who inspires you guys? Of all the workshops you've been to, speakers, authors, who inspires you, or who's your favorite, and why?
You. Here's the thing. Everybody around you is your support team, right? Everybody. And so, there are certain people I'm never going to meet, that I read their books and they inspire, and that's wonderful. That's fantastic. But what I've discovered is that it is the people around me, that speak into my life. The ones that can give me a hug, the ones that can give me a high five, the ones that can speak a word of encouragement to me. You understand what I'm saying? It's her, And not to say that there's not many authors and books and teachers and, that we've read through the years that have been very helpful. But though that's just information. That's just information. What I really need is for God to show up in physical form and be with me in the moment. And that's what you do. That's what we all do for each other. We show up for each other, right? And we don't have to plan it. Okay, all right, now I'm gonna try to, be there for so and so. And no, you just, okay, I'm here. You just suit up, show up, and drop the act, right? Drop the act and just be. Because Spirit can come through anybody. Because Spirit is coming through everybody. And you never know who could be talking to you. There have been times I've been to like a bookstore or coffee shop and sitting there, and somebody, for whatever reason, they end up next to me, or we end up at the same table or whatever, and it's like we're sitting there and we go, yeah, how are you? It's like, okay, I guess we're doing this. I don't know this person, but here we are. And so we get in conversation, and then it's a God moment. You understand what I'm saying? So not to, there's many books and authors and wonderful people out there, but the real people who influence me the most are the people in my life, my support team. And that includes you. Amen. Right? Yeah. Absolutely.
I agree with all of that.
Yes.
And
yes.
If I were going to actually mention, writings and so forth, I am inspired by Brene Brown. I love Father Richard Rohr's works. Eric Butterworth, of course. Emily Cady. Charles Fillmore. Pretty profound writings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he did all right.
There's so much good stuff out there. It's hard to, but those are some of my favorites.
Yeah. Anybody else? Right here. Bella.
Hi. So I kind of do what you said in the beginning. I focus. I could have 10 positive things, and that one negative thing comes along, and I focus on that.
Yeah.
And it happened yesterday at a music event, and I saw people I haven't seen for years, and it was such a great gathering, and everybody's so friendly. And I love going to music for that reason, because everybody's so friendly and happy. And then she got, this one person, I'm not going to go into it, but she got recognized for something by the artist. And I said to myself, well, she did, I'm negative, right? She did it, she always wanted to be out there, moved here, took over the music, that kind of thing. And had a thing with me. And I try to stay in the background, but apparently I think she felt like, challenged by me or whatever. Because, I'm a pretty strong personality. I can be.
Really? Okay.
So I'm kind of out there. And independent. So I left there, and I was supposed to go to another thing after, and I didn't go. And she was there with her friend. And I looked at the picture, and I was home, and I was relaxed, made a nice dinner. And I was really happy that I didn't go. I just can't deal with it. I just cannot.
Yeah.
I can't let go of, and I know I put negative energy into her from day one. I know her from the Blues Cruise. I know her for 20 years, and she moved here after I did, and, some chaos erupted, and blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Well, what's interesting about what you're saying is that you can take a whiteboard and you take some kind of marker and you put one little dot on it, where does your attention go? Yeah. Yeah. And we have been trained to look for the mistake. We've been trained to look for the imperfections. And what's fascinating is that there are many imperfections to see, right? And after a while, you begin to, there came a time in my life where I thought, I pointed out the negative for so long, it's gotten kind of boring, right? It gets to the point to where it's the same old. Everybody has their shortcomings, and here I am picking at this one, picking at that one, picking at myself, and I just got tired of it. And so I thought, well, how can I find ways to keep turning it to the positive? How can I find ways to, it's like, let me ask you a question. What do you and Adolf Hitler have in common? We're all children of God. Now, he may manifest it a little differently than you, right? But the truth of it is, we're all children of God, and we're all doing our thing. And I believe that we're all self-corrective, that you will reap what you sow. Say it with me. I reap what I sow. Yeah, that's my karma. That's how things are changed in my life, because you'd never know that about something unless, you could see it in yourself. And once you see it in yourself, that's half of the solution. Once you see it and you acknowledge, you go, oh, that's what that is. And then you learn to be okay with it. Then all of a sudden it loses its energy. Right? Yeah.
I just wanted to add, as you were talking.
Yeah, you want to give her the mic? Thank you.
My voice is loud, but it's okay.
Well, not for the
I was
people.
a math teacher, and
Yes.
I used to, when kids made a mistake, I would say, good, now we could correct it. And I would turn it around, they would correct it, and I'd give them extra points.
Yeah.
Why can't I do that with this person? Because she doesn't want to correct the situation. I've tried. So
Right.
What do you do? I've approached her several times.
Pray for her. The best way, in my opinion, the best way that you can make amends with someone, if they don't want to make amends, if there's any kind of rub, whatever it is, pray for them, because it will change you. Because we come from the standpoint that it's them that needs to change. But there's something in us that is drawing that to be worked out in us. So if you'll put yourself in a place of just praying for her, not praying for the things that you see wrong in her to be corrected, just praying for her highest and best good, praying that she be successful, praying that she be at peace, all of those things, because that changes you. And it will begin, what you were talking about earlier, that vibration, it will begin to change the vibration that you're carrying about her.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to leave people alone.
You did a smart thing by not going and putting yourself in. Obviously, if you have something with someone and if I'm with them, I'm just not going to behave myself. Don't put yourself, take care of yourself and don't put yourself in that position. So yeah.
Sometimes you have to keep facing the same thing over and over until finally you realize, this is something that is being worked out of me. It's being worked out of me, because it's all. Let's say it together. It's all personal.
It's all personal.
All right. You've heard the idea. Don't take it personal. It's all personal. Right? It really is. But it's personal and it's not personal. Make sense? In other words, it's for you to work through, because it's back to the fixing thing that was brought up by Sally. I've resigned my CEO-ship of the universe. Right? I had to resign because I realized that I couldn't fix everything. I couldn't fix everybody. And that's not really my job anyway, right? I was just making a mess of things. And so I've resigned. And okay, all right, now what am I here to do now? And what I'm here to do is to keep working on myself, keep loving others, praying for others, being an example, being a reflection back to them. Because, see, when people look at you, they don't see you. They see their belief about who they think you are. Isn't it true? So most people are never really in a relationship with the true person. They're in a relationship with the person that they think that they are. Say it with me. Oh. Right? Does that help anybody? Yeah. And that's why sometimes when they don't fit that mold, it's like, oh, wait a minute. That's not who I married. You were supposed to be A, B, and C, and now you're Q, R, and Z. And that's where we set ourselves up because we're fooled by appearances. We're fooled by the outward external appearance of people. We think, that, oh, they're this, they're that. No, wait a minute, no. In all the sacred writings, it tells us that everybody is a perfect child of God on the inside. Now, not everybody's manifesting that. Not everybody's revealing that. Hear what I'm saying in balance, right? How many understand you got to hear both sides of every equation in order to get the real truth? It's not just this or that, but it's this and that. You got both sides of the coin. Make sense? Yeah. And then you get the big picture. You see the whole thing. And then you have what? Wholeness. Wholeness. A lot of people are half-baked. Right? And you know what happens? You need to be flipped. It's the flipping that we don't like. How many people do you hear say, man, I'm just flipping out? What's going on? Oh, well, that's what's supposed to happen. You were halfway there. And I love that scripture. It says when you walk in to that spiritual dimension, a voice says, well done, faithful servant. No, you didn't get it. Oh, well. It'll come to you in a minute. Instead of being half-baked, you're well done. Okay.
They got it.
All right, anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? This is good. This is good. Right back there. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question, and I don't understand. It's the word fear. It means good and bad. That's what I don't understand, the word fear.
Okay.
It's feel the same way
Yeah.
when you feel it in your body. So where it's good, it's feel the is it bad, you still feel the same way.
There you
It's
go.
the only word that I know that you use it twice, good and bad. That's good and bad. It's the only word. Love, you use it once. But fear, you can use it twice. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, it's the understanding that the body, there are certain things we call fear that we're afraid of. It's like, I remember as a child, my uncle asked me to get on top of a house and to change his antenna a little bit so he could get reception. And I've had never been on top of a 3-story house before. So when I got up there, I began to sense certain feelings in my body. It's like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't be up here. And so I really, that was, thankfully, my body was telling me, you probably shouldn't be here. Because you're not supported, and that was a healthy fear, So I think there are healthy, what we call fear, because how many understand we're just dealing in words, We're just dealing in words. And then there are times when It's fear that is obsessive, that is compulsive, that is attacking, that is more negative. I don't know if that's what you were saying or not, but that's kind of how I see that sometimes fear, there are natural things that we call fear that, I want to respect. When I get in my car and I put my seatbelt on, is it because I'm afraid I'm going to be in an accident? Or is it because I'm being responsible and I'm obeying the law? Right? So it's taking care of yourself and at the same time not obsessing over anything. Does that help anybody? Does that help at all?
Yeah, some.
Okay. Can you tell us more of what you were saying?
Well, what I'm saying is, if you get afraid of someone, it's a person. You
Yes.
feel the same way if you got afraid of a lion. It's the same feeling.
Yes.
It's not
yes.
different. It's
That's
the same
right.
feeling. So it's a good and it's a bad. That's what I don't understand. It's good and bad at the same time. It's not
Right.
like love. Love is not love and hate at the same time.
Yeah.
It's love. But fear is not.
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
get the same feeling. If somebody breaking your house with a gun, you get afraid. That's the same feeling. And if you walking down the street or something, and you see some people and you say, "Oh, I'm afraid of them." They're just regular people. Or
Yeah.
you see a bug, you might be afraid of bug, but you
Right.
get that same fear that you got when the man broke in the house.
Right.
So it's like a good and a bad. That's the one I couldn't understand.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
a two thing. It's like one side coin is fear, another side of the coin is fear.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 And that's how we get wisdom, is by having the opposites in our lives. It's like as soon as you stand up and say, "I'm for this," somebody over there is going to stand up and say, "I'm against it." All right? If you say, "No, we're against this," then somebody's going to stand up and say, "No, I'm for it." Have you noticed that? I mean, it's getting so obvious these days. You know how that this is just being played out? And so we're learning, I think I heard somebody say the word discernment. We're learning discernment, how to discern what's really the problem or the challenge is that we're not choosing love. We're choosing fear. We're allowing fear to possess us, to take us over. And,
And I think some of the fear that you're talking about is, so I can have a healthy, self-preserving fear of a lion and know not to put myself in its reach. And that's a good fear to have. That's a healthy thing to do. Some of my fears I have, if I see a group of people moving down the sidewalk and, I'm afraid, that's built on some experience, perception, information, belief system I have that is not working for my highest good. And then I'm turning around and I'm placing that same thing on a lot of things that I don't have any reason to attach that fear to. And in those cases, that fear is born out of something that I'm holding on to that's not serving me well. And I need to look at that. I need to look at what's caused that belief in me that this innocent group of people moving down the sidewalk elicits this response in me. What is it that I have experienced that I'm heralding back to, or what belief have I attached onto that's causing that to arise in me? So in those cases, I think we need to look at that. We need to think about, why is this coming up this way for me? Because that then winds up hampering our relationships with people. It winds up, interfering with so much in our lives, and so it holds us back. It doesn't serve us well.
you know what a Freudian slip is?
Your mother.
When you say one thing, but you mean your mother. She's heard this before. You're supposed to go along with me on this. So we got to talk beforehand. You're making me
I was
look
just
bad.
trying to cut
No,
to the
I'm just
chase.
So,
I love my mother-in-law.
yes. But, it's like everything that comes into balance, it's like swings one way, then it swings the other way. And then it just keeps swinging back and forth and back and forth. What happens after a while? It settles, doesn't it? So we're living at a time to where we need to allow things to settle down. And the more peace we can bring to the world, the more we can affirm peace and forgiveness and acceptance and care, then the more we can see that pendulum start to swing toward being centered. So if you and I are centered, you will help other people to become centered. Right? So yeah, the pendulum's swinging, isn't it?
Affirmation we had at the Daily Word.
It constantly swings. And so that's the nature of reality. It is rational for a while, and then it goes to the irrational. And then it swings the other way, and you go, wow, I didn't think it could be that bad. I didn't think it could be that way.
You know, the other
But
thing
after a
too,
while, it'll balance itself out.
the other thing too is the feeling of fear that gets generated in our body can feel
Right.
like a lot of other things.
Yeah.
So if you think about if I see something and I'm fearful of it, the first place I tend to feel it is in my stomach, or I have butterflies in the stomach, or this or that or the other. And anxiety might feel that way, which is stems from fear, but also excitement.
Right.
If I'm going for an interview and I've got butterflies in my stomach because it's unknown and I don't know, there's excitement. There's a lot of things that can feel like
That's right.
that same energy
Yeah.
that might not necessarily be fear, but it can feel that way.
I talked to a person one time, they were very nervous. They were going to have to get up and speak for the very first time. They said, I feel so afraid and so nervous. And the person was shaking. I said, wait a minute. I said, let's redefine the energy.
Yeah.
Let's call it something else. I said, what do you feel? Well, I feel like there's just, this queasiness. All right, let's call that excitement.
Yeah.
Think about how you feel when you're excited about something. It's kind of the same feeling, isn't it? So you redefine it, rather than nervousness and dread, it's excitement and joy. And so we talked for about 5 minutes, and she got up and gave just an amazing talk for her first time, because she redefined the way that it felt to her, right? She redefined it in that moment and was able to channel a totally different energy.
There's another question back there.
All right, we got one more. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we've got some great questions on Facebook.
Okay.
The first one is, there's been a lot of focus on identifying narcissists and how to extricate them from your life in the last 5 years. One of the predominant thoughts is that narcissists never change. How do we see the divine being in those who we would call narcissists?
Wow.
Good question, yeah. Yeah, well, narcissism is a thing, right? Have you noticed it? Have you noticed it in yourself? Just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. Right? And so it is. So what was the question she was asking, or he was asking?
How to see the divine being.
Oh,
in
how to see the
narcissists.
divine. Yeah. Because sometimes when the divine shows up, will show up in many different ways, shapes, and forms. Sometimes it's the trickster. Okay? Sometimes it's the trickster. And so you have to understand that this is just a divine being, and that in this moment, they're playing a part. They're playing a part. Because see, did you know that you're only going to be here temporarily? This is just a basically, 3-act play. And when it's over, we're all going to go back to backstage and have an after show party together. Right? So when these people show up in these guises and forms, hidden inside of that person is the divine seed, the divine life. And so that's what we have to look for. It's not looking at the narcissist and saying, oh, that narcissism is divine. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that the person inside is divine. And all of us are divine. So the more you can see that, you say, okay, this is just God showing up in a different way for me right now. And, it's like I have learned how to deal with snakes. Does anybody here know how to deal with snakes? Run. Yeah, we all have our...
Stay away from them. Stay away from them.
Admire
them and take pictures of them.
There you go. Yeah. So I don't play with snakes. Now, some people know a lot about snakes, and they'll let them, they'll hang them on their necks, and they'll walk around or whatever, and that's good. You do you. You do you. But as for me, I'm with Seth. I'm going to take a picture. Oh, that beautiful snake with the long tongue. Oh, very interesting. So I walk around snakes, And when I'm around a narcissist and I realize that that's what I'm dealing with, because when a person reveals who they are or who they think that they are, then you believe them. All right? And you say, okay, in this human sense, I'm going to let you be who you are and just walk around. Sometimes you just have to do that. And let them be who they are. That's wisdom. Say it with me, wisdom. It's discernment. But don't forget, we all have a little bit of narcissism in us. So it's important not to be too judgy with people. Right? People are where they are. And a lot of people are stuck where they're at. They're stuck. Was there another question? Or was that it?
No, there was one more.
Okay. And then we'll close.
This question is, how can we better handle our fear about our country?
Okay. Okay.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah? You want to address this one?
Pray. That's what it always comes down to, pray. Because on an individual level, we only have so much that we can do. So we have to lean into. So my thought is, change happens. Change is happening all the time. We're never guaranteed that anything is going to remain the way that it's always been. Change is scary. We have to rely on our prayers, knowing that there's always a higher plan unfolding. And it's above my pay grade. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the higher plan is. I don't need to know what the higher plan is. All I need to do is lean into the knowing and trusting that there is something higher at work going on and do my part, what I feel I need to do in the way of being a responsible voter and all those kinds of things. But praying really, again, it will help keep me, we've talked before about, when there's conflict going on, you can let the conflict go on and you can be in that center of peace like the little bird that hangs out in the nest when the storm is raging. If you pray, it will allow you to be in the center of that storm in the calm place and let everything do what it needs to do, but not affect you. Because if you get caught up in the storm, in the effects of things, then you only become a part of the problem. Then you wind up saying things that you shouldn't say, doing things that you shouldn't do, making enemies, all this.
Creating more separation.
Creating more separation, creating more issues. So it's really about just exactly, again, back to that daily word this morning, taking care of my own feelings. My responsibility is to me, how I'm responding to things. And if I'm responding poorly to things, then I need to go into prayer about it. Prayer is always the number one go-to, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so, we
and
are...
turn off as much of the talking heads as you can. I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Turn off as much of that stuff as you can. Absolutely, you've got to listen to enough to be informed and know what's going on in your world, but you do not need to make a 24-hour meal off of...
Just because it's on 24 hours doesn't mean you have to watch it 24 hours.
Yeah, because remember, they're selling fear. They're selling discord. They're selling separation, right? They're selling all the things that we don't want to buy. So listen to enough of it to be informed, and that's it.
Yeah, because our mission statement is we are a haven of peace where people are loved and empowered through positive, practical spirituality and healing the separation. That's what we're here to do, is heal the separation. So we're to be a healing influence. And you can't be a healing influence when you're so full of separation. You know, it's us and them. It's you and me. And no. We're all in this together, folks. Right?
We could actually take that as each of us as our own personal mission statement too.
Yeah.
I am a haven of peace where people are loved and nurtured through my practice of my positive and practical spirituality so that I can heal the belief in separation.
Wow. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Our mission for the day.
Yeah. So just a little something for you to consider today. Thank you for playing along today. We appreciate it. Thanks for your good questions. And I'll tell you what, it's...
Turn this mic off. I'm going to sit it down.
Okay.
Don't want it to roll off that stool.
So we're going to turn down the lights a little bit. So how do you feel right now? Pay attention to what you notice about your body, about how you feel on the inside. For you are a divine being, and you have the power to heal yourself. Sometimes it's just getting still. Sometimes it's just a prayer, an affirmation, making a new choice, choosing something different, choosing a higher, better way of being, way of talking, way of thinking. And we're all healing right now. We just allow it.
I am healing. I am healing. I am healing with God's love. I am healing every feeling, and every cell is filled with love. And in this moment, I remember I am a perfect child of God. I am open to the Spirit. I am healing with God's love. We are healing. We are healing. We are healing with God's love. We are healing every feeling, and every cell is filled with love. And in this moment, we remember we are the perfect child of God. We are open to the Spirit. We are healing with God's love.
And so now, I invite you to move within, to go inside your closet, to that space inside yourself where is the true sanctuary, your true essence, your true core self. It's where we connect with the divine. It's where we find peace and rest. If you notice that as you shift your attention and your awareness to the inside, that everything else in the outer world just begins to fall away. And maybe not so important. I invite you to breathe deep now. And just let that oxygen just move throughout your whole body, enlivening every cell. Knowing that every cell is filled with love. Because what is oxygen? What is it really? It's just another form of love. Every breath you take, that loving energy that feeds you, that nourishes you, that heals you. And so in this moment, I'm healing a little more. Healing a little bit more. I trust a little more. I'm a little more accepting of people. A little more accepting of myself. It's okay if it's gradual. It doesn't have to be like lightning and strike and everything changes. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's a gradual walk through the valley on a sunny day. Just allow the work to be done. Allow the pendulum to begin to slow down. Instead of judging and accusing and blaming yourself and others, choose love. Choose again. Choose love. Choose self-acceptance. And in your heart, maybe consider these words. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And those words create a particular energy of healing, a healing vibration to help you to mend and to repair maybe a damaged relationship. Maybe there's something in your body that feels out of whack. It doesn't feel good. Sometimes just a little apology to your body, a little apology to yourself or someone else can heal a multitude of misunderstandings. And so be open now to allow that healing presence that we call Holy Spirit to be with you in this moment, to care for you, to watch over you, to lead, to guide, to direct you. Whatever you need this morning, it's all here for you. So let's breathe it in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you know of someone that you would like to pray for in this moment, I invite you to maybe softly say their name aloud. And whatever is going on in their life, trust that it can change. It can be different. But it's not up to you to do it. It's only yours to hold them in your thoughts, in your heart, in love and in light, Now, if they call you today, yeah, you can talk with them and help. But many times, people suffer in silence, unfortunately. And so we pray, and we hold them now in this moment in peace. Be at peace, dear one. Find your wholeness. Experience a healing in this moment. Whatever you need, whatever you need. I see you at your best, your highest good. It was also brought up today about our nation, our country, and the division that there appears to be. Let us pray that we may be one, that we might experience a healing of the separation and the division, a coming together. Can you hold that vision with me this morning? The more people who can pray and affirm in a positive way, it makes a difference. The energy builds and it grows and it grows. And your prayers make a difference. They really do. We're grateful for our community. We continue to affirm our prosperity and our growth spiritually as well as physically, emotionally, in every way. We are grateful for the love that we feel and the support that we give each other. And we are grateful for this time. And so I invite you now, for just a moment, to rest in the quiet. So now, in the name of the sacred and all that is holy and good, we say, thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And so it is. All right, let's take a breath together. Take a moment to reach and stretch. Slowly move your muscles around. How are we this morning? I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank all the folks that watch us online. We appreciate you. Thank you. And for all the good questions today. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. We're going to take a moment now to receive an offering. And it is just that. It is what you feel is appropriate for you to give and to share from your prosperity, your abundance. And we appreciate it. And you matter. You make a difference. Let's say it together. I matter.
I matter.
I make a difference.
I make a difference.
You really do. And I appreciate it so much. And if you're watching online, you'd like to make a donation, you go to unitychurchofgreenville.org and you can make a donation there. We really are thankful and appreciative of that. And we're also very grateful for those that give in a consistent way, and that really helps a lot. So tell somebody, say, it helps a lot, thanks.
It helps a lot, thanks.
So we just trust that everyone is doing the very best that they can, And we appreciate that very much. Let's say together,
Divine
divine
love
love flowing through me
blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all I receive, and all that I am.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All things resolve. All things resolve. All things resolve when you let them. All things resolve. All things resolve. All things resolve when you let them. Let's turn it over to the higher power. Let's turn it over to the highest power. I turn it over to the highest power. Let it go. I turn it over to the highest power. Let's turn it over to the higher power. Let's turn it over to the higher power. Let it go. All things resolve. Yeah. All things resolve. All things resolve when you let them, let them, let them. All things resolve. Yes, they do. All things resolve. All things resolve when you let them. Let's turn it over. So turn it over to the highest power. Let's turn it over to the highest power. I'll turn it over to the higher power. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. I'll turn it over to the highest power. Let's turn it over to the higher power. Let's turn it over to the highest power. Let it go. All things resolve. All things resolve. All things resolve when you let them. All things resolve. All things resolve. All things resolve when you let them. When you let them. When you let them. Did you get it? All right. Things have a way of working out, don't they?
Things do have a way of working out.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. Leah, do you have some announcements for
I
us?
do. First of all, let me just say that you guys have a wonderful board this year. I know we always have really good boards, but we have a wonderful board this year. They spent their Saturday yesterday together, getting to know one another, getting to know the mission and the vision of the church, and going through some training. And you know, one of the things that we talked about was we don't want to have a bigger church just so that we can have bragging rights. That's not our goal of being
It's
larger
not?
in number.
What
You
am I
know-
going to tell the other ministers?
Well,
Oh.
we want to grow because we have a community out there that really, don't you think, needs this kind of environment and this kind of message, something that is free of guilt and shame and encourages them and feeds their soul and endeavors to make the world a better place? Yeah, so that's our intention for growth around here.
Hey, where's that church at? I want to go there.
Yeah, I know.
That sounds really good.
I heard they have a couple of really interesting ministers. Interesting.
Interesting.
Hey,
yes.
this Wednesday night at 6:30, James will be doing the metaphysical discussion, and you can join that Zoom or live here.
Join us.
Bring your questions about metaphysical things and we'll discuss them. Also, join LUT candidate Lisa Munoz for a 5-week study to learn about 9 key spiritual practices: vision, faith, prayer, gratitude, forgiveness, humility, community, death, and service, using the book Do Greater Things, Following in Jesus' Footsteps. The first class meets this Saturday, April 22nd at 10 a.m., and then the remaining 4 classes will meet on Sundays following the service beginning April 30th. You can pay for that class and register on the website.
And that book was written by a good friend of ours.
Alicia Searcy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she is, it's amazing how she has grown and her ministry is just fantastic.
It has, and she has gotten to where she's at from being involved with Mary Morrissey's dream building endeavors, which is what this lovely couple right here is involved in. And this past Thursday, they started a 3-week course on transformation. Is that getting to be a word around here? It's like our buzzword, transformation.
I think so.
And they met last week on Zoom, but I understand that you can still join up if you want to, right? So go to the website, sign up. You'll get a link to join them for the next 2 weeks, and then you can also get a recording of last week's class. But do that. That's good stuff in there. You don't want to miss out on that. It's real. Well, on Sunday, I'm so glad you asked. On Sunday, June 4th at 6 p.m., all the way from California, award-winning singer-songwriter Daniel Namad is visiting Unity of Greenville for the very first time to present a very special solo concert. You'll hear Daniel perform some of his and Unity's most popular songs, and he will also share brand new music from his 23rd studio album called Real. So don't miss this rare opportunity to hear Daniel Namad live and in person right here at Unity of Greenville. $25, but no one is turned away. Reserve your spot on the website. We believe all service is an act of devotion to God and your spiritual community, and this is how we express our divine nature in loving service to each other. Service is a key part of spiritual growth and personal transformation.
Heard that before.
To evolve, you've got to get involved. So we're looking for a few people to get involved with our 5 to 11-year-olds. If this is something that speaks to you or you would like to learn more, please speak with Reverend James after the service. Don't you wish you had been exposed to unity principles at that age? How different your life might be. So help spread the unity message of love and acceptance and create a world that works for everyone. You can make a difference. Do we have anyone here joining us for the very first time this morning? Oh, over there, a lovely couple. Thank you so much. We have a welcome center back there off to the left of the gathering area with some literature and so forth. Please go pick up some things that seem of interest to you, and there'll probably be somebody back there to answer questions and so forth for you. We have prayer chaplains on duty today following the service. It looks like these 2 ladies right up here. Remember that we can all use someone to pray with us from time to time. And what do? They are trained and specialized at doing affirmative prayer, which helps you remember who you are at a time when maybe you're having a difficult time remembering who you are. So if you want to come and have a prayer time with them, just come right up here to the front. And finally, it takes a lot of hands to make this thing happen every week. Let's give a round of thank you and gratitude to those that worked on today's service.
Thank you, Lamar. Good job this morning. All right. Is that good? You got it?
That's it for me.
All right. I'm sure that you all recorded that in your perfect memories and you now understand everything. But if you missed anything, go to our website.
Go to the website.
And it's all there. Let's all stand together. All right. Let's say together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. For wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have an exciting day today. All right. I'm good. How about yourself, my friend?